so nice to see everybody. What a great day to be a duck. We've got this beautiful November Willamette Valley weather out there. So we are here to dedicate, to be happy about this new Living Learning Center. It's been open for just a few weeks. We're fortunate to have with us today a person who epitomizes higher education and public service, who is the person that we all think of when we think of those two words together. President Dave Frohnmeyer is not only a champion for education, he is the champion for higher education in the state and is known nationally in that capacity. As busy as he is as president of the university, to this day, he still teaches a freshman class every year and leadership. So when we started talking about the Living Learning Center, needless to say, he was one of the first advocates to jump on board and has been a champion for it since we started talking about it. So it's a real pleasure to have Dave with us today to make some comments at this grand opening. So President Dave Frohnmeyer.
Thanks very much, Mike. It really is a great pleasure to be here at the formal dedication of this Living Learning facility and to see so many people in the room who've had a direct connection to its planning, even to its conception, to its construction, and finally to its opening. So congratulations to you all, and thanks so much for the continuing contributions you've made to the lives of the university. It has to be thrilling under any circumstance to welcome opening the doors of the first new residential facility constructed on this campus in 40 years. That's a hiatus of which we're not particularly proud. It's the result of a strange set of circumstances in which others got in line ahead of the University of Oregon. But the fact that we're able to come online now with something that really makes a statement about how we care about students in the educational process is frankly a thrill. So this is a historic occasion, and Lynn and I are so proud to be very much a part of it. Even the very notion that in education that living and learning are somehow separated is itself artificial, because each is a part of the other. We don't stop learning on a programmed basis just because we've left a classroom, a seminar room, a laboratory, a studio. We hope that the collegiate experience, as all of life's great experiences, are ones in which we continue to learn wherever we are. Certainly the very function of this building is designed to promote exactly that notion. And the minds and the hearts that have gone into this planning have helped to make that a reality after more than 2 years of construction, and before that many, many years of planning, of dreaming, of hoping, and of finally being able to see how all the pieces could fit together to make this happen. And to see already that this center has come to reality, that within the last weeks we've seen students who are living, socializing, taking classes, attending performances, and dining all under one roof is frankly thrilling, because that means that living and learning are one. With the possible, no, actually I should say the certain exception of indoor football games, there is little that can't be dreamed of happening and being accomplished here in these quarters. I'm very serious about that too, by the way, just in case anyone wondered what intramural rules are going to be from now on. And Mike Eister has coached me well on that subject. But this center happily blurs the distinction between residential settings and academic life. And in that respect, it engages students in the intellectual life of the university as early as possible. It's a better model for off-campus housing and on-campus housing. And it sets the stage for the next series of renovations of housing at the University of Oregon, which I'm quite sure will follow in this path-breaking and wholly admirable model. Empirical research of all kinds in the field of education demonstrates that out-of-class faculty interaction with students in interactive learning situations enhances the students' overall intellectual and academic performance, as well as those students' personal development. because it creates improved academic achievement and quality of effort. We know that from the evidence. It allows teaching and peer experience to be brought to bear. It brings current research and publications across the disciplines into the very character of a residential experience, and it gives opportunities for informal faculty mentoring. Mike mentioned that I teach a freshman seminar on theories of leadership each year and have for the last decade. I intend to teach that class again this year, and I intend to teach it in this facility. So I will be a good beta testing location for how this works, but I have every confidence that it will be a wonderful setting for us all to bring what it is we have to bear pedagogically to the student experience. For us, I know it will raise our awareness of the student's life on a daily basis, as well as our awareness of such things as departmental majors and minors. It allows us to share our research with students in a much more direct way, where they are, not simply where we are. I think it will reduce that distance that sometimes intimidates students, especially beginning their learning experiences, going to knock on the professor's door, and if you have to climb up a flight of steps, students have told me just how daunting that really is for the first time, and maybe the first time doesn't occur often enough or early enough because of that kind of distance and barrier. George Bernard Shaw once said that life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself. I believe that we've created something here that will enable students and faculty today, tomorrow, and into the indefinite future with generations yet to come to create themselves, and in the process to create meaningful discoveries that make both living and learning so much more worthwhile. So Mike Eister and all of those of you who are responsible from the university administration, our profound congratulations. We share your excitement and joy with the opening of this truly great facility. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, President Frohmeyer. Again, we have a few seats. Well, they're filling up. So there are some seats up here in the front if anybody would like to have a seat. Next, we have a special treat. We, last year, embarked on something that we don't do very often. There's two things that we haven't done very often. One is build a residence hall, and the other is hire a provost. And we did both of those things. So we have a new provost this year who, during her time on campus as she was interviewing, without prompting, began speaking about the value of integrating students' academic lives with their residential life, with their out-of-classroom life, and has been a real champion for student success and academic quality since actually before her job started here. Before her job started here, she made trips here throughout the spring and summer and the winter, I guess, even before, and started her job before the job started, and has been a champion for students, for academic quality, student success. So we are privileged to have with us today our new provost, Dr. Linda Brady.
Thank you, Mike. I really am absolutely delighted to be here today. This is a magnificent facility, one that does indeed integrate residential life and academic life. And as President Frohmeyer has said, we learn every day. We learn in multiple environments. We learn indeed not only in the classroom, but particularly through the interaction that occurs among faculty, students, and staff outside of the classroom. And one of the wonderful characteristics of this new facility is the presence not only of high-quality residence hall rooms for students, but also a beautiful performance hall, lecture halls and classrooms, meeting rooms, rooms in which students and faculty can meet for advising and other kinds of conferences, where indeed we facilitate the kind of interaction that needs to occur both within the classroom and outside of the classroom as well. It is wonderful to have an environment in which we can create a real community among the students who live in this facility, And it also, because of many of the common spaces like this performance hall, enable us to link indeed with the community that surrounds the university by bringing guest speakers and performances to the campus. Again, to try to create that seamless interaction in which learning indeed does occur. You may know that this facility was constructed with real sensitivity to environmental design, including passive solar design, which probably is not very helpful on a day like today, but also natural ventilation. And I was really impressed when I had an opportunity to tour the facility a couple of months ago to see the attention to environmental design, which should indeed reflect our approach to construction generally on the campus, and certainly will be important to us as we move forward to renovate and build additional housing and other facilities on the campus. We are indeed deeply committed to student success. We do know that the freshman experience is particularly important in terms of setting a tone for success that we expect all of our students to achieve while they're here. And while I'm not certain of the actual breakout of how many freshmen we actually have living in the Living Learning Center, I would expect that we have a number of freshmen. We know that the freshman experience is absolutely critical in terms of retention. We want all of our freshmen to return for their second, third, and fourth years, and then ultimately graduate. And we do know that their success is directly linked to the quality of the residential experience. We are currently engaged in a long-range strategic planning effort related to residential life that will indeed integrate our notion of what it means to be a residential university in the 21st century with the academic goals that we have for all of our students, integrated with an environmentally sensitive design process. So we look forward to opening more facilities like this, hopefully not having to wait another 40 years before we get there. And in the interim, we will be investing in renovation of existing facilities to improve the quality of residential life for students. Again, I'm delighted to be here. I do want to express my appreciation to all who have worked for so many years on this project to bring it to fruition. Thank you for inviting me today, and go Ducks.
Dave and Lynn and Linda have responsibilities over Autzen direction, so they're going to leave us right now. I'd like to start out this next section by reading you some names. There are a lot of people, as you can imagine, that were involved in the success of this, and I'd like to just go through those names very quickly. George Bleekman, David Frank, Gary Fritz, President Frohnmeyer, Alex Gordon, Ann Levitt, John Mosley, Gary Moy, Chris Ramey, Karen Sprague, Fred Tepfer, Dan Williams, and we have some companies, Zimmer Gunzel Frasca Partnership, Sean Nessel and Brad Tyndall, John Highland Construction, Troy Hansen, Balsheiser Hubbard Engineers, Larry Gilbert, Cameron McCarthy Gilbert, and Scheid and all housing staff. So if any of those folks are in the room, would you please stand? The Living Learning Center doesn't answer the question of how to achieve world peace. It doesn't provide the cure for cancer, and it doesn't solve the problem of poverty or unemployment. But perhaps the seed for one of these outcomes is germinating right now in the mind of one of the students who live here. And perhaps that seed will be nurtured and stimulated by a faculty member who teaches here, or a fellow student in a residential freshman interest group. Maybe a conversation between classmates over coffee in the Duck's Bistro will result in a major advancement for our society. This isn't a wild fantasy, it's already happening. The Living Learning Center provides a physical and programmatic nexus. Its central location provides a crossroad of activity and vibrancy to the campus. Its programs are designed to bring students, faculty, and staff together, and thereby add to the university's commitment to academic quality and the promotion of student success. As a result, the campus has a much more residential feel and a more active sense of community. The completion of the Living Learning Center signifies a resounding commitment by the University of Oregon to remain a residential campus. The more students feel a sense of belonging, the more likely they are to be successful. The more opportunities they have to relate to faculty, staff, and other students, the greater the chances are that they will gain the full benefit of attending a residential university. While our entire residence hall program is and has been for numbers of years aimed at promoting these goals, the Living Learning Center was designed to meet them. The completion of the Living Learning Center is evidence of a new era of collaboration to leverage scarce resources. The central location of the Living Learning Center makes it an attractive space for faculty to teach classes. Additionally, the classrooms in the Living Learning Center serve two major functions. During daytime classroom hours, they function as classrooms for university courses in any discipline. During evening and weekend hours, they function as event, meeting, program, and performance spaces for residence hall students. Plus, the classrooms in the universities add to the university's classroom inventory at no cost to the general university budget. Maybe most importantly, the Living Learning Center provides opportunities for university faculty, staff, and administrators to work together in new ways to support students and their educational efforts. Indeed, the Living Learning Center is a model project showing how to get the most bang for your buck through leveraging resources and collaboration. The Living Learning Center is the first phase of a multi-phase commitment to replace and modernize our existing residence halls. Our existing residence halls were cutting edge at the time they were designed and built. They've been well maintained over the years. They're just not good for what we're trying to use them for right now. The standard 150 square foot double room, the lack of privacy and storage afforded students in the existing buildings are things that we know must be addressed. While the Living Learning Center only houses about 10% of our total residential population, it does give us the opportunity to take some rooms offline and begin the process of replacing and renovating residence halls. The completion of the Living Learning Center marks both an end and a beginning. It's the end of a long process of planning, design, and construction that started in the 1990s. It also marks a new dawn for the University of Oregon. Several years ago, former housing director H.P. Barnhart said, "Student housing should be more than a place to eat and sleep. It should provide for the student a place to grow intellectually, socially, and culturally." Indeed, we are now catching up with that vision. Thank you all for being here. And now I would like to introduce one more speaker. Keith Bassett is our president of the Residence Hall Association, and we are privileged and honored to have Keith here to make comments. Keith?
Thank you, Mike. Welcome, on behalf of all residents, into our home. I'm honored to be in this position in the year that the University of Oregon opens its first brand new residence hall in a very long time. It is nice to finally have a residence hall on campus that my parents didn't live in, and they considered it old when they were here. I encourage all of you to stick around after the ceremonies to really see what makes this new complex so special to the residents. The addition of this new complex to the residential community truly makes a difference to all residents, not just those who live in these two buildings. The creation of Duck's Bistro, the introduction of classrooms, and a 24-hour area desk within the residential complex truly go beyond the living learning title. The complex becomes an interface between all aspects of the campus community and brings it close to the residents. As a student, the largest noticeable difference with the creation and opening of the Living Learning Center has been the presence of an additional dining venue. Not only is Duck's, as it is called by the students, a convenient and helpful place for residents of the LLC to grab a bite to eat, but is a social gathering spot, an intellectual gathering spot for all residents from every complex. Another feature that solidifies this complex as a community hub is the broad array of social and study spaces. While students informally meet in the bistro, they also meet in lounges and social areas throughout the buildings. Study rooms are located in almost every corner of the building, and whether you're trying to isolate yourself, find a quiet place to study, or converse with a group of friends, there's a place you can find that's available. Some of the best outcomes of this new construction came from the design of the building itself, not just the conceptual ideas. Residents of the Living Learning Center's daily comings and goings between classes, student group meetings in the student union, and cultural events is definitely facilitated by the proximity to these resources and to the center of campus. The much talked about increase in size of the residence hall rooms themselves has been embraced by all residents, first year and returners, some of whom who have lived one or more years in the other residential complexes, which have been long considered inadequately small. What makes this complex so popular with the residents is the seamless integration of exceptional living, learning, eating, programming, and study spaces. Resources are readily available and easily accessible to all residents. As a student leader, I'm hoping to only be here 2 more years. And I am pleased, however, that the long-term administrators have decided to bring a new era of development to the residential community. I'm proud to say that the future of the residence halls looks bright from a student's perspective, and I hope the energy continues to make more new residence halls a reality for students in the future. It is exciting to see residents thinking of a future where more residence halls are in the same vein as this Living Learning Center. Thank you to all the students that made this possible, those on the advisory panel, those that endured a year or more of construction noises for a majority of the day. You have made it possible for students in the future and in the present to enjoy this magnificent center. Finally, thank you to the University Administration and community members for the leadership to accomplish this project and years of commitment to make it happen. Residents across all boundaries are discovering the many ways this building can help them get the most out of their University of Oregon experience. Again, on behalf of all the residents, welcome, and go Ducks.